Cars Channel News and Review Car.
Mazda CX-5 Sky Active D 2.2 liters. In its class, the CX-5 isn't the most spacious, nor is it the most plush in terms of suspension. However, for the keen one behind the wheel, it is arguably the most well-rounded. Of particular note is the recently introduced 2.2-liter Sky Active D diesel engine, which is about as refined as four-cylinder diesels come. Flexible and capable it is, too, when you really open the taps. Accessible, abundant torque is a given. What's pleasantly surprising is the diesel's appetite for its, admittedly still modest, red line. Pair that with a willing gearbox and a sufficiently nimble chassis, and you have a crossover which doesn't immediately make you wish you were driving something else once the commute turns a bit more recreational. 2. Toyota Alphard. This was my surprise entrant this year. I've to admit, my time with this model was the first Alphard I had spent any considerable amount of time in, and like the W213 Mercedes-Benz E-Class that takes the next slot in this list, it is the interior that makes the vehicle. Inside, the Alphard is spacious, plush, well-appointed and easy to see out of all at once. For relaxing one's passengers, it's probably among the best. Now with first-hand experience, I can see how the likes of the Alphard could supplant the venerable, three-box luxury sedan as the boss's car. 3. W213 Mercedes-Benz E200. I'll echo Jonathan Lee here, the W213's cabin is a sublime place in which to spend time, especially in Klang Valley traffic. It almost doesn't matter that it's a more languid machine compared to the outgoing BMW 5 Series. In fact, the three-pointed star car's relaxed demeanor is exactly what works for it. The generously sized dual LCD displays ahead of the driver are wonderfully sharp, while the ambient lighting and the current Mercedes-Benz interior design language pair beautifully for a cabin that is possibly beyond reproach. If there was one car this year which, upon parking, stalled my egress out of sheer comfort, the W213 E-Class was it. 4. Isuzu MU-X. So long as absolutely no rough-roading comes into play. My time with the Isuzu MU-X actually predates my tenure here at paulton.org, but it makes the list by virtue of its schedule boxes being on the 2016 calendar. Like the Serena, the MU-X can seat 7, albeit with slightly more difficult access to the third row of seats. The trade-off is that you get a vehicle that is properly capable off-road, with switchable 4WD and low range. It's a rudimentary, workhorse device, certainly when compared to any Mercedes-Benz or Jaguar Land Rover product. However, the MU-X's relative simplicity is perhaps where it holds a great deal of its charm. Chunky controls and hard plastics complement rather than detract from the Isuzu's character, and it imparts a sense of reliability, load-lugging ability and crawl-over-most-things prowess. 5. Honda Civic FC. The drive up to Mount Kinabalu Park in Sabah was enough to make me heavily consider the new Honda Civic as an upgrade should I decide to move up a segment in the future, and here's why. For starters, the 1.5-liter Tech Turbo engine is certainly one of its high points, with plenty of grunt to leave its rivals behind on a hill climb, despite a CVT that requires some restraint in throttle input. It isn't just the power either, as it is also matched by impressive levels of agility and a ride that makes long journeys comfortable. With Honda's packaging prowess complementing those qualities, the Civic is the perfect all-rounder that can deliver on many fronts. 6. BMW 120i M-Sport. Hold up a second, wasn't the BMW 120i M-Sport launched last year? Well, your memory isn't failing you, but it was only in 2016 that I managed to get behind the wheel of one during this year's BMW driver training program at Sepang. Most would say that an M model, M2, M3, M4, M5 or M6, take your pick, is faster on a track, and I'll agree. However, the small Beamer is perfect for someone who's learning to walk before they run, that is me, and it shined with every lesson during the program, being a useful instrument while learning the dark myths of understeer, oversteer, late braking, etc. It gets even better on track, as the 120i won't intimidate you with a colossal power output. The direct-injected 1.6-liter four-cylinder turbo engine with 177 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque is more than 7. Mitsubishi Triton VGT Mivec. The only pickup truck in the list, and for one good reason, the Borneo Safari. If you ever wanted to test just how tough a truck can be, this is the event to do so. And so Mitsubishi Motors Malaysia did, fielding 4 modestly modified Tritons in one of the world's toughest 4x4 expeditions. Among the Tritons, 2 were the new Mivec-powered ones, while the other 2 were non-Mivec models. Regardless, all 4 managed to survive the Ord journey with only a few bruises, and even won the affection of the drivers behind them. This included Leona Chin, someone who is more familiar with driving on a racetrack than on muddy trail. 8. Porsche 718. The 911 may be the most desirable Porsche model among the masses, but the 718 Boxster was the one that appealed to me more during the Porsche World Road Show earlier this year. It may not equal the power output set by its bigger brother, even with the new turbo 4 mils, but the overall package made for an enjoyable time behind the wheel. The mid-engine, rear-wheel drive setup, coupled with the quicker steering, allowed me to enjoy the car's wonderful balance, and through the corners, it communicated all the necessary information needed to make any required adjustment,